Hi everyone, my name is Brianne. I have been the recreational fisheries research intern this summer. So I've been helping out with a doctoral student working towards getting his dissertation done. So the overall goal of the project I've been helping with is to better inform management practices of New England's recreational groundfish fishery. So how is that project going to do that? I will tell you. But first I'm going to give you some background information. So, first of all, groundfish refer to fish that live, I bet you can guess, yes, on the ground, or at least near the bottom of the water column. In New England, and for this study specifically, that means Atlantic cod and haddock, with an emphasis on the cod. Currently, commercial fishing of cod is tightly regulated but allowed. Recreational catch of cod, however, is still prohibited. And that might be surprising to some of you, like it was for me. But in fact, recreational catch of cod has accounted for between 20 and 42% of the total catch by weight since 2003 in the Gulf of Maine. So it's really significant. And the argument behind this prohibition on any take of cod is that the quota set for the recreational catch of cod is met with the number of cod that die after being caught and released from a fishing line. So the phenomenon that's being described there is known as post-release mortality. So basically, when a fisherman throws a fish back after catching it, a lot of people assume that that fish is fine. It will return to its home and it'll live a full and happy life. However, oftentimes the stress of capture, coupled with any physical injuries sustained, causes an individual to die after being released. So variables that may impact survivability include the hook location, the fight time, so the amount of time that that fish is on the line, the unhooking time, the handling of the fish, so when it's on deck, and the gear type, or what's at the end of that fishing line. So the government argues, when you look at post-release mortality of cod in recreational fisheries at least, it's so high that the quota is met already, even without a fisherman keeping any cod to take home. And obviously, this restricts the livelihood of many fishermen in New England and can be quite frustrating for them. So let's reel this back into the project that I've been working on. So in 2016, my supervisor conducted a study that was aimed at determining which factors play a significant role in impacting groundfish survivability. So my supervisor and company caught something like a bajillion fish. They recorded all of those parameters that I referenced earlier, so unhook time, fight time, length, injury, and then they tagged a bunch of them and released them. And they gathered that information from the tags and ran an analysis to see which factors corresponded with greater rates of mortality. And what they found was that a greater incidence of mortality was attributed to the capture and handling process. So overall, they decided they wanted to decrease fight and unhook time. But what influences the amount of fight and the amount of unhook time? Tackle type. So that's the gear at the end of the fishing line. And what they found that was really interesting and kind of further complicated things was that when using a baited hook versus a jig, the unhooking time was lower for jigs, but the injury incurred by the fish was much higher. So they actually ended up recommending using bait as opposed to jigs. But that's a really tricky recommendation, right? So back to the study that I'm helping with. We are trying to refine that data to figure out which types of tackle are best to use. So is there one that's optimal that would result in lower injury scores as well as a quicker unhooking time? And so we're looking at 6 different types of tackle. So that includes the barbless treble hook, a regular treble hook, a single hook, and these are all jigs. And then on the baited side of things, we have the baited J-hook, the baited circle hook, and a baited offset circle hook. So how we have it set up is that there are 6 anglers fishing each tackle type for 1 hour each, and then switching to the next tackle type, kind of like musical chairs. And we're collecting all of the same data that they gathered in the previous study. So hopefully, will be able to inform management plans that will enable recreational fishing while still conserving the population and allowing it to continue to recover. My role in this study, so in addition to contributing to data collection by fishing, I've really been the data wench. So we spend 6 hours fishing and we're recording all of that data that I've referenced a couple of times now. And my job is to take all of that and put it into Excel so that it's easily accessible and digital. And I've also just recently helped with a report that was due to the funding body. And that really gave us a look at some preliminary results. So we were able to take a peek at some descriptive stats, get an idea of what so far seems to be the case. Unfortunately, I don't have time to go into those preliminary results right now. However, if anybody's interested, please feel free to email me. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions. I have all the data, so I've looked through it a billion times. I'd be really happy to talk about it if it's something that really interests you for some reason. What's really great is a lot of the work has been done remotely, and that's worked really well with my schedule. Another thing is that I've never had a data-oriented internship before, so it's really interesting. I'm getting really familiar with dealing with large data sets. That is it, and again, feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions.